Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. V back with another Age of Empires 3 casted game between two of my favorite players to watch. But before that, I feel it only fair to forewarn you, guys, find a desk, grab a notebook, sharpen your pencils, because artillery class is in session today. Now, how do I know that? Did I watch the whole game? Did I spoil it to act like I'm some sort of Age of Empires genius? No, I did not do that. It's because when I looked at the title of the replay, it said 1v1 Shake Artillery War. So, we're in for a grand old time today, but let's introduce our players. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. In the south of the map, playing in the color red as the Dutch, the #1 civilization, no matter what Widgie says in his tier lists. Love you, Widgie.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Is MartisKainen, which it's probably the third or fourth game that I've casted, and I still don't know if I'm saying his username right, but hey, if anybody knows, if Martis is watching, please give me a phonetic spelling in the comments below. He is playing as the Dutch, going with the early house, because of course he is. The 4 villagers on gold, everybody else on food. And in the north of the map, playing in the color blue as the Portuguese, Shake 2020, another favorite on this channel. In fact, was featured in the first ever video that we ever uploaded. So he definitely has a special place in my heart, starting with the early trading post and about to get his first shipment. It's going to be Fetorias because that's just how the ports do. Meanwhile, Martis getting that 3 villager card in, has 14 vills right now, definitely probably going to get another one in queue, continues to chop coin, and even gathering a little extra. Nope. Okay, he's going for the 15 vil, age up, very, very standard Dutch, and collecting a very nice 90 wood treasure. Very, very well done by him. Meanwhile, Shake has been picking up quite a few wood treasures of his own, claimed those one in the immediate residence of his base, and now going for a 60 coin treasure as well. Now, we know we're going to see a lot of artillery just based on the name, but I am not so sure how we are going to get there or what age we are going to see the artillery in. I don't know if it's going to be an age 3 battle. I don't know if we're going to see organ guns or falconets or colves. I mean, we're probably going to see all 3 of those things. And we might even see some age 4, maybe even age 5 artillery as well. I just know that we are going to be educated in Artillery 101. I hope you guys are ready, because class is in session. Meanwhile, Martis is chasing down Shake. Diego Alvarez is being chased by Dirk Minuit. I don't think he's actually going to chase him all the way to his base, is he? Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to just try to take out this explorer. I mean, he is only at 120 HP. Meanwhile, both players are now aging up to the second age. It looks like Martis is a little bit ahead thanks to Dutch not having to spend food for villagers. A lot of vills on wood here, going to get that first bank down. Looks like his resource distribution is a little bit wonky. He's going to get to food. No, he's going to get to wood quite a bit sooner than he gets to food. And I think he's going to pick up this explorer. That's going to be a really nice 45 XP for Martis. And the port player finally fights back. Town centers are in the, town centers. Villagers are in the town center, not going to put down damage. It looks like they were just being shifted to that hunt. Yeah, going well for Martis, but certainly not bad for Shake. Now, this is port we're talking about. They do control the tempo when it comes to map control, so we'll see where they're going to put this second town center. And we already have the forwardville. Look at this cheeky little gal moving to the middle of the map, and I don't know if she's going to be seen. No forward villagers coming through for Martis, so I think we're going to be seeing fairly standard Dutch from him. And he does not see the Vil with his envoy. He's just going to miss it. Oh, that is unfortunate, as the Vil is now just arriving. Maybe he'll see those hunts getting shot at. A bit risky by Shake to shoot those hunts. You'll notice with high-level players, they keep very good track of the hunts, even the ones that are in the middle of the map, because dead hunts allude to villagers, which may allude to a forward base. And here we see it. The town center foundation is already going down, but Martis is going to spot this town center wagon. Ladies and gentlemen, he is sending 700 wood as his first H2 card. Meanwhile, Shake's sending 700 coins, so we're going to see some FF play from Portugal, and the stable going down as well. The Explorer is now here. Oh, that is a very risky treasure to go for. The villager is sitting on it. 35 food, not inconsequential. And meanwhile, Diego is going to go for it. Oh no, here comes the treasure contention. Get that villager on it. No, he's going to comfortably pick it up with his Explorer. So stable and town center now going down quite forward. And it looks like the Dutch player used his first 400 wood to put down a bank. So no early aggression coming out from him, at least not super early. We're not going to be seeing 5 hus at the 6-minute mark, but we are seeing another Explorer battle, and I think Martis is going to pick up another 45 XP. Dirk Minuet, collecting 90 XP just from wailing on Diego. I don't know. I do not know how to pronounce Spanish very well. But the stable and the town center is down. Ladies and gentlemen, no artillery yet, but trust me, the teachers are working on it, and artillery will come, unless they're lying to me. Unless this is one giant replay title bluff, but I doubt it. I don't think they care enough about sending me that kind of game. I don't know. 4 banks already down for 6 minutes into the game. That is really well done for Martis. Although Martis, I mean, I think this guy plays Dutch more entertainingly than any other guy I have seen. I love his Dutch builds. They are so much fun. And they're not always standard. I don't know if they're always the most viable because standard Dutch is standard for a reason, but they are certainly a lot of fun to watch. Now 5 hus coming across the map. No military units from Portugal, but he's already got the H3 loaded up. He's got the marksman, so maybe Dutch can do some early damage here. Gonna get this barracks down. That will be a nice catch, although he won't delay it for long, I assume. And how many villagers are at this forward post? Just 2 villagers. Now the Minutemen are going to come out, and the Hussars are going to choose to fight those Minutemen as they are at full HP. A bit of a risky play by Martis. Going to take a lot of damage to his cab there, but he is going to allow those villagers to stay built up. Maybe even going to get this Explorer again. This poor guy going to go down for a 3rd time? No, they're going to focus on the villagers. And meanwhile, Martis, he is not even close to the 3rd age. He's sending the Irish Brigadiers. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, 9 Irish Brigadiers on the way. So he's going to double down on his age 2 Dutch pressure. I don't know how I feel about that. More Hussars in queue. Meanwhile, Sheikh's already going to be in the 3rd age. He has a shipment saved up. He can send 5 Dragoon, make more from his stable. He can send the 8 Cassadors, which will deal with the Irish Brigadiers quite well. Along with, is he gonna, yes, okay, so he sent the 2nd wagon to the forward base. So he's now gonna have 2 TCs. He's going to have a very strong forward base. 6 Cassadors coming out now, although they are not protected by anything. He's really gonna make sure those Dragoons are there on time. Hopefully they're there before these Hussars are able to clean up these Cassadors for free. It's gonna be a close timing, ladies and gentlemen. Martis, now the Irish Brigadiers almost on the way. Remember, they are a mercenary shipment, so they do take longer. And the Hussars not going for the Cassadors. So I think the Dragoons are going to be able to save these light infantry in time. And it looks like Martis is determined to get a ton of damage on this town center. I don't blame him for that. But now he's not going to be able to pick up this free light infantry, and the Explorer going down again. Oh my goodness. And now the H2 Hussar are going to be completely outclassed by these H3 Dragoons. And the town center, it's going to be a risky play here, but now the Irish Brigadiers going to be going down very quickly to this Cassador fire, and the composition of the Portuguese player of Sheikh is just so superior to what Martis has right now. Even Minutemen being called out, the town center is going to be saved, and I don't know, that seems like such a weird utilization of the Irish Brigadiers. I think Martis got a bit of tunnel vision, and he was so focused on that town center that, I mean, the investment here was not worth it at all. And even sending in 5 more cav. Okay, so this is such an all-in by Martis, and I really don't know if I agree with it. 8 pikemen even coming out. I mean, he's got 5 banks. He's got an insane coin eco, but he's not even close to getting to H3 right now. And his composition is just so outclassed, especially now that he's going pike Huss. I mean, the Dragoons can kite that and kill the entire thing and maybe not even take a single point of damage. Now, he is getting some skirms in, but these are H2 skirms. They are not going to do a whole lot versus H3 Cassadors and just all this infrastructure along with Dragoons, which will keep the Hussars off of the Cassadors' back. I I don't know what Martis is doing here. I think this is way too all in from the Dutch player. I think Shake is in a really great position. Now, you know, Martis is ahead in score, and the villager lead is actually in Martis's favor if you add the banks, it is in his favor, 27-31. Although now with 3 town centers, that is going to go back into Shake's favor quite quickly. And now here comes another assault, but it's Pikeman, 5 Skirm, and Hussar. Definitely not going to be able to do much against this H3 Port army. And, I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like this, viewers. But he's actually getting a good surround on the Cassadors. He's using the Pikemen to shield the Dragoons and kind of ward them off. But now, here come the Halberdiers. The Halbs are going to save the day for Portugal. Oh my God. The Halberdiers. What a great pop. They just decimated those H2 Hussars like they weren't even there. Well, now Dutch sending 700 coin, and I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to get an emergency age up in as quickly as possible. Look at the amount of villagers that are being produced from Portugal, along with 7 Cassadors. This is looking very, very good for Shake. But we were promised artillery, so I know the class looks like it's going to get out early, but ladies and gentlemen, you will not be disappointed. I believe in Shake. I believe in Martis. Something is going to happen here. Although Shake has played a really, really solid game. And I think Martis, while he's been controlling his H2 units quite well, it's too much of an overcommit. But hey, these are both guys that are in the top 100, and I can't even crack 1500 ELO. So I shouldn't judge too much, right? That can always happen, right? Like when you're casting a game, you sort of get a little bit haughty. And you start to think, oh, well, this top 50 player isn't doing what I would do, even though you know what? All I'm saying is, in my rambly sort of way, is when you're watching high-level games, don't get too judgmental. Meanwhile, the Dutch base is in severe danger, because the army that has been formed, the Minutemen and a handful of skirmishers, are going to go down very quickly. And he is now in H3, so he does get the Shadow Tech with the skirms, but there are so many Cassadors on the field that I don't know if it's going to matter. 17 Cassadors with a handful of Dragoons and even a couple of Halberdiers still involved. And he doesn't really have any shipment on the way. No, he has no shipment yet. An emergency barracks going up in the back. His skirmishers are trying to do as much damage as they can to the Dragoons, and now even some villagers going down for Martis. He does have a shipment ready. What is he going to send? He is sending the 8 skirmishers, and he even has Nassau Regiment in his deck. Very interesting. But this Portuguese army is taking a little bit of damage from the town center, and now more skirmishers pouring out. We do have to remember that the Dutch coin economy is quite insane, simply because he has 5 banks still up. And he does have this barracks still up, so he is currently producing double skirm, which I think is a safe pick right now since Portugal is going Cassador Dragoon. Maybe mix in some Huss, but with this many Dragoon, I don't know if that'd be a safe bet. Maybe just go all in skirm and hope that Shake doesn't go Huss at this point. 8 skirm's gonna come out here, a very nice timing, so now he's gonna have a flank, but there are so many Dragoons here to body block that I don't know if it's gonna be enough, and the Dutch player still taking substantial damage. However, his economy is staying relatively intact. He's got the villagers gathering in the back, but now here comes Shake. He recognizes that he needs to continue to disrupt and not just hover around the town center. More skirms coming out, and more Dragoons coming out from Shake, although the Cassador numbers for the Portuguese player are starting to go down a little bit. And if it turns into Dragoon versus Skirmisher, I think the Dutch may be able to hold this push. In fact, I think he is going to push, or he is going to hold this push. And oh my, how many times is this Portuguese explorer going to be killed in this game? Ladies and gentlemen, Martis holds off Shake's first assault. Although Shake did do a substantial amount of damage, did kill a couple of Ills, a lot of build time, 26-54 in favor of Shake. And now he's getting some of his upgrades like Log Flume. He's getting Placer Mines. He's getting Veteran Huss. So we are going to see a handcap switch. And he's even getting 3 organ guns. So things looking really scary here for the Dutch player. I can't talk. He has a very stringed out economy. A lot of isolated vills here. And a very, very one-trick pony when it comes to his army. Only skirmishers on the field right now. Although he is producing halberdiers. That is an interesting call. Okay. I mean, we saw halbs from Portugal, and that worked out well. Maybe halbs from Dutch? Okay. Well, this is a good time to see what our players have sent. So, with Sheikh, it must be said, he has been sending strictly military shipments this entire age. Even sending a fort. Fort San Miguel is now up in the middle of the map, and this is becoming an nearly impregnable stronghold. We have a barracks, we have a stable, we have a fort, and an artillery foundry. So, potential for a very, very diverse unit composition. Meanwhile, just the barracks stable combo from the Dutch player. And yeah, this economy is so vulnerable. It's got me on the edge of my seat. Just because if Sheikh is able to attack this coin mine or attack this hunt, it's going to be very, very bad for Martis. And I think that just won the statement, or that won the award for the most obvious statement of the entire game. Sometimes, not every piece of commentary can be gold. It's like, hey guys, did you know that if one player loses villagers, that's bad? Pro tips over here. All right, so we do have Veteran Huss out for Sheikh and the 3 organ guns. So now we have Cazador, Dragoon, Huss, and Artillery. And Artillery class, lesson number 1, organ guns, really good against skirmishers. So write that down in your notebooks, folks, and they don't do too bad against halberdiers either. But he is kind of keeping these in the back of his base, maybe as a bit of a surprise for Sheikh. And a really nice starting volley, going to pick up a couple of skirms there. And the Dragoon upgrade coming in. Falconets coming out for Martis. He does have the artillery foundry down now and going to be taking some damage. This bank economy is one he's going to need to protect if he wants to stay afloat. He's already at a huge villager deficit. He does have a nice mass of skirms here, but here are the halbs. The halbs getting a beautiful vill raid in the top of the map and against that exposed hunt. And now the halberdiers going in. They are going to catch the hussar off foot. And now the Huss are going to take a ton of damage from these halbs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe hussars going down. So, I mean, I guess a decent trade. Sheikh did pick up a bank. He did get some vill kills. I'm going to put that one in Sheikh's favor, although Martis was able to pick off quite a few cavalry. Another villager going down for Martis here. But now both Huss, or no, the villager won't go down. He'll save the vill. But now he has a severe economic deficit. It is now 72 to 28. Now, granted, he still has 4 banks, but yeah, looking nasty for Martis. But here it comes, ladies and gentlemen, the classic halberd with the skirmisher pincer attack. And quite a few vills going down here for Portugal. And now Martis has a stunning 4 falconets. Lesson number 2, ladies and gentlemen, write this in your notebooks. Falconets can kill villagers. We are just learning all sorts of tidbits today. And the Portuguese army now adding Colves to the composition. So a lot of units here that need to be juggled quite well by Sheikh. Although Sheikh does have quite outstanding micro. So Martis has Skirm, Halb, Falk. And Sheikh has Dragoon, Cazador, Colv, Organ Gun. So there are definitely spots on both armies that I would favor. So, if the Skirms can get a good flank on the Dragoons, if the Falconets can get a good hit on the Cazadors, and now we are going to see the engagement. The Hussars coming in, the Dragoons going right for the Falconets, not going to be able to pick one off, and out come the Culverins, one to be immediately killed, and these Hussar are taking so much damage, but now the Halbs getting in on the Dragoons, putting down quite a bit of hand damage. The Cazadors starting to get involved, but the Skirmishers are still involved, even some Halbs in the back, shooting and taking down the Culverins, and what a shot there by those Culves, taking out those organ guns, and the Halbs now on the Cazadors. They are doing so much hand damage, and the Halbs just obliterating the light infantry for Portugal, and Martis actually able to win that engagement, by a substantial margin, and now the Halbs are even starting to get on the Dragoons again. Maybe a bit of a sloppy click there by Shake, but the Portuguese army has been decimated, ladies and gentlemen, and now the church card Religious Freedom coming out for Dutch. A lot of Falconets coming out now. The Dutch coin economy is going to start kicking in, and meanwhile, Shake, I was starting to wonder why reinforcements weren't on their way. It's because Shake is going up to the Fortress Age, ladies and gentlemen, and even starting to wall off the flanks of the map. So 2 outposts here, does want to secure as much map control as possible. And I think he just wants to create one solid line parallel with his forward base here. He wants to close off these as well, and he really wants to hem Dutch in. Now, Dutch can handle being hemmed in better than other civs can, but they definitely still need room to gather hunts and to gather on the remaining coin mines. They can't just rely on banks. And this villager building the wall is going to be killed. The Dutch army is trying to make use of their advantage while they have it, because they are still at a 74-34 economic advantage. These Halbs are going to be able to pick up a couple more Vil kills. They might even take out these outposts. Meanwhile, the Falconets and a Culverin are going to start marching across the map. Now, the Dutch army is quite powerful, although it is still quite immobile. Meanwhile, the Portuguese army is quite mobile, being only Dragoons right now. So Martis definitely can't let his cannons lag too far behind, lest they be sniped by these missile cavalry. The outpost going down, so I guess that's a good pickup for Martis. Not going to be too disappointing for Shake. He is in the industrial age, sending 5 organ guns as his first card, not sending the factories right away. So interesting, really wants to boost his military, perhaps before the Dutch makes a push on his own base, which we must admit is pretty exposed. A lot of juicy vills here. Mills now going up for Shake. And another town center probably going to be settled, yep, on this right side of the map. So Shake is doing an unprecedented amount of map seizing here. But I think Martis might be going in for an assault. Although with all of these wall foundations, Shake does have a lot of vision. He does know where Martis's army is right now, and he can plan accordingly. Look at those organ guns. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 organ guns on the field and a huge mass of Legion Dragoons. These guys have an upgrade card behind them. They have multiple upgrades, and they are beefy. We're looking at 361 HP. We're looking at 39 ranged attack. Oh my gosh. And 20 ranged resist. So really, really powerful units. And they're going to make sure that there are no Dutch villagers hiding out on this side of the map. He wants to make sure that Martis is pinned in this corner and is not going anywhere else for resources. Though Martis is kind of gathering here freely. And whoops. And Shake can see it. So possibly going to make some sort of assault here. Though it looks like Martis is going to beat him to it, going to be leading an assault on this town center, and he certainly has the local military superiority. A huge mass of Halbs and Skirms and Falks and even some Culverins to prevent other, artillery from taking out his Falks. And more Dragoons going to be going up against those Skirmishers, going to be going down. Again, Shake kind of getting his Dragoons out, caught in a little bit of a vulnerable position. But the Coles need to get unwrapped. They could do a stunning amount of damage against those organ guns. But look at that volley from the Portuguese organ guns doing a number on those Dutch skirmishers. Wow. And the Portuguese wall continues, making a web, making sure that nobody can get into the cookie jar, into his main economic hub. So, a quick rundown of how things are looking. Martis at 40 Vils, Shake at 82. Holy crap. Martis does have 5 banks. Looks like he did rebuild that bank he lost earlier in the game. But things are at a bit of a stalemate right now. I think Shake is just waiting for his tech superiority to give him a huge advantage, but that has given Martis the window to age up. He is now going to the 4th age himself with the Tycoon, and oh wow, look at this. Martis has almost no cards in his age 4 deck. He has no factories, only has Tulip Speculation, no heavy cannon shipment. That is going to really hurt Martis in this late game. Wow. Okay. That is substantial. Because Shake doesn't have a brilliant Age 4 deck, but he does have both of his factory cards. He does have a Dragoon upgrade. He does have a Cassador upgrade. Yeah. Even sending Robber Barons, which is going to... Oh, wait, no. Robber Barons is just a factory card. What am I saying? For some reason, I thought that was like some weird, out-of-the-box, unorthodox shipment. And Villagers getting killed here. The Dragoons just so fast, so mobile, so hard to keep up with, especially when you have a huge contingent of cannons that you need to protect at all times. But now we see the Red Lancers coming out from the Dutch player, and I wonder if they are going to try to get a sneaky Vil raid, maybe catch a batch of Vils away from the protection of the Dragoons. And oh, look at this. Okay, he sees the Vils. Maybe gonna try to take some out? No? Oh, man. And over here, oh my gosh. The mustering is continuing. 30 Legion Dragoons, 3 Colves, 6 Organ Duns. Oh my gosh. Wow. No Age 4 artillery yet, and no Age 4 artillery upgrades yet. We haven't seen Culverin. Oh no, we do. Oh, well, I apologize. I spoke too soon. The organ guns have now been upgraded to Rabalds, and the Culverins are now upgraded to Culverin Royales. So, we are going to see a fairly substantial artillery advantage from Shake. And look at this army now moving across the map. I think the Portuguese player is done mustering. He is ready to press the attack. And the Dutch player, while he has a very powerful army, it has not yet gotten the Age 4 upgrades that it needs. Although he does have Guard Skirmishers. He does not have No, he does have Culverin Royale. Okay, now is getting Stadschwatzen, which is the Halberdier upgrade. But no field guns yet for his Falconets. Now making mortars and sending cavalry combat, even though he has no cavalry. Okay, interesting. Well, Martis, I mean, he doesn't really have much else to send, although he could send Tulip Speculation. That would be a really good card. Or maybe even a fort at this point. I don't know if I get the cavalry card. Is he going to make a huge switch? Is that what he's trying to do? And where are his Red Lancers? Oh, where'd they go? Did they get killed? I hope not. I was hoping they would do something crazy. I think they might have gotten killed. I think they got picked off by the Dragoons. Now we see the artillery duel begin, ladies and gentlemen. We are 27 minutes into this game, and I don't know if the Dutch player can breach this base, although he is going to pick off a Culverin here. So it is now 2-2 in Culverin Royale numbers. A lot of organ guns still back here, though they will lose quite substantially to Culverins and mortars and falconets, who still do not have the field gun upgrade, although he is getting the howitzer upgrade. So now the howitzers going to be able to even outrange the Culverins, though I don't know if they do much damage to the Culverins. I would have to double check that. It is now 1-1 in the Culverin numbers. Shake is producing more Culverins. Does have factories now producing coin. And gonna get a nice hit there. We have a Culverin 1-for-1. One town center is going to go down for Shake. At this point, he's at 99 Vils. I don't think that's going to be too much of a loss for him. The organ guns moving in now. Want to make sure that your skirmishers aren't left too vulnerable there. Field gun upgrade has just come in for the Falconets, perhaps at the perfect time. And the revolt from Martis. Where did this come from, ladies and gentlemen? This is why I love watching his Dutch. Okay, so now we have Trek wagons, which I know what those do now. They are basically mobile rallying points for villagers that do damage and tank. I mean, they have 518 hit points. Meanwhile, these Falconets doing a number on these organ guns. They are all going down, and now that the skirmishers are on the Legion Dragoons, these are guard skirmishers, and the halberdiers are getting in on the Culverins. Those Culverins going down very quickly. The Trek wagons blocking so much damage right now from the Dragoons, and the Dutch player is actually getting a decent engagement here, though he is in a risky spot. There is a lot of infrastructure here. A lot of units could be popping out quite quickly for Shake, although Shake is really low on coin, though he is sitting at 4,000 food, and he He's sending 2 heavy cannons now, making more dragoons, making more culverin royales. These trek wagons doing quite a bit of good work. And there they are. There are the red lancers. Okay. I gave them up for dead, but they must have been hiding in the corner of the map. Their time has come, ladies and gentlemen. They were late to class, but at least they're here now. And the Dutch transition to mills has officially begun. Although I don't know if it's a full transition. Just 1 mill so far. The heavy cannons are out. Gonna want to be careful with those heavy cannons. Don't leave them too isolated. The trek wagons are hilarious. They look so silly in this Dutch army. And the heavy cannons continuing to chase down this Dutch army, wants to get some good volleys on all of that juicy infantry. More culverins, 4 culverins coming out from Sheikh. And now I wonder if just the sheer economic volume of Sheikh is going to start playing a huge factor here. And the trade monopoly, are you serious? Oh my God. Okay, so Sheikh has put the earnest on to Martis. He says, look, I am not going to play this game where we just keep tiptoeing around. Either you try to break me or I win the game. And I think Mart has taken the hint. He is now moving out with his army once again. Just 3 culverins and 1 howitzer and a batch of skirmishers. I definitely like the position of Sheikh right now, as long as he can protect those culves and those heavy cannons. But those trek wagons make such a difficult wall. And out come the halberdiers. They were, oh my God, okay, so they were stationed in the trek wagons, and now they are in the midst of the culverins. They are absolutely destroying the culves. 1 heavy cannon going down. The shock riders coming out for Portugal. I can't talk. Oh my God. Okay, the shock riders coming out for Portugal, doing a number on the skirmishers. Meanwhile, the red lancers are trying to flank around and take care of that heavy cav. The skirmishers are getting on the dragoons. That is where they want to be. The heavy cannons and the culves are down for Portugal. And meanwhile, howitzer and culverin still firing at this fort. Maybe going to try to take it from the middle of the map and maybe try to finally push Sheikh out of this middle position. But I just don't think that Mart has... I don't think he has the momentum. And even Royal Arquebusiers coming out for Sheikh. So many units. Such a diverse game. And ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing the Imperial War Wagons from the South Africa Revolt. This is hilarious. These are Imperial War Wagons, 975 HP. They have 81 ranged attack. They are stupidly powerful. And meanwhile, this fort starting to take damage. I think it might even go down to this howitzer fire, but more culves coming out for Sheikh. Wow, that is so many culverins. He's got the shock riders. He's got the dragoons. And Mart is really starting to run out of resources here. He's at 44 villagers to Sheikh's 99. And the Imperial War Wagons starting to go down to just mass dragoon fire here. And the skirmishers not able to put down enough fire. The trek wagons not able to tank enough. And so those Imperial War Wagons actually not doing as much as I thought they would. Meanwhile, more war wagons being produced, more field guns. A factory is now being shipped by Martis because he now has the South Africa deck. That makes sense. The veteran riders are going to go down here. Those Imperial War Wagons are just, oh my God, they're disgusting in terms of how well they deal with cavalry. The Culverin Royales pushing forward, though they don't really have much to target except this field gun. The other field guns staying back into position. And I really like how Mart has been playing this. I like how he's been using lots of different units. I like how he keeps shaking up the board to try to move things around. I just don't think he has enough economy. And that's the huge thing with Portugal, right? If you let Portugal scale like this, there's really not a lot you can do. I mean, Legion Dragoons, Culverin Royales, it's just the perfect army to keep anything back, right? This is not an army built for aggression. This is an army built for holding defensive points on the map for that trade monopoly. And those Dragoons doing such a good job against those war wagons. He's trying to get it switched around so that he is getting those skirmishers faced against those Dragoons. But man, and these war wagons are expensive. And Mart just does not have the infrastructure to be mass producing them right now. And we are 1 minute away from the trade monopoly, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that it is going to be, a trade monopoly win for Shake. This has been really well played. So many artillery pieces, so many culverins, so many dragoons, so many fun units. But I think just the overall mass of the Portuguese economy is going to win the day. The field guns are going to come out now. They might try to break down this trading post. Maybe they can do it. Are they going to do it? Will this end the trade monopoly? No, it will not. Okay, so that one did not count towards the trade monopoly. He needs to take out this trading post. He's moving towards it now. He's completely ignoring Shake's dragoons, completely going for this trade post. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It will not be enough. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the game. And I feel like an absolute idiot because I was stumbling over myself for like the last 15 minutes there. A, because it's been a long day, and B, because that game was absolutely insane. Wow. What class is, oh my God, the bell just rang, guys. So if you got to dismiss and get a glass of water and think about your life, I don't blame you. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Let's collect our thoughts, everyone. Okay. Grab a drink of water. I will see you in the post game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the post game. We've taken a moment to breathe. That map was Lithuania, by the way. I didn't mention that at the start, but I really liked that map. I like a lot of maps that have the main piece and then they have kind of the secondary pieces on the side separated by like water or some sort of landform. I just think those are always a lot more unique, and they grant more unique games than, say, Great Plains, where it's just everything's open and have at it. But I think the tale of the tape in this game, Shake versus Mart, is really going to show most in the resources. We look here, you can see the economic discrepancy, 89 versus 78,000 resources for Port and Dutch respectively. And it's just, that was such a huge disadvantage that Mart, all credit to Mart for being so far behind in villager count. I thought he played that very, very well. And it wasn't until maybe the final 5 to 7 minutes where I thought Shake was now in an unassailable lead. But I mean, wow, what a great push towards the end there. He really just kind of was diversifying his army, trying to see what worked. But once Shake had that level of map control, and once he had the trade monopoly, he could basically just kind of sit back, play it really safe with a really strong 2-unit composition, Colves and Dragoons, and he just had to play defense. So really well played by Shake. I mean, he played Port how you're supposed to play it. And we see here, I mean, when it comes to military, 1 unit difference, 250 versus 251. And that just goes to show that, I mean, Mart really was putting in a huge effort to keep up with Shake's economy. Now, he did have the 5 banks, so it's not like he was as behind as the raw numbers show, but I do still think he was coming from quite a deficit there. Now, we look at the timeline. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. At the end of the game, 99 versus 46. So we didn't quite get to the 50 limit for Dutch. And we go to military units. We saw a really good fight there. So when Shake did try to push in, Mart did a wonderful job defending. And then, we see quite a while here. He has almost like he had like a 10, 11 minute span where he was in a substantial lead as far as military. But Shake was just taking really good engagements. He was playing defensively. And we saw that really nasty fight there for Mart. He just lost so many units in that engagement. And then it stayed even. And I mean, he even had the military advantage at the end. But the units that Portugal did have were very, very strong. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this game. I've got perhaps an even a more entertaining match coming down the pipe. And I might not be alone for our next casted game. We might have a special guest, a co-caster, if you will, someone that I value and appreciate very much. So if he is able to make it on the channel, I will be ecstatic. So until then, guys, have a great day. Have a great life. See you later.